Okay. So you can go ahead and get comfortable sitting. We'll take a few minutes to center before moving into our asana practice for this evening. So just allow yourself to kind of rein in all of your attention, all of your focus, noticing even how your focus is very much externally or outwardly directed as you go about your day. Unless you are mindful of that enough to stop every now and then to gain a more internal focus, more of a sense of presence, internal presence, inner realm presence. And so seeing or experiencing that turning of your focus inward. So it might be the difference in quality between feeling scattered, energy scattered and moving outward, and feeling centered. And that your intention now is to center. So you can go ahead and begin to close your eyes. So it takes a lot of energy to be constantly redirecting your focus to more internal, inner awareness, to be aware of the experiences that you are having moment by moment, as opposed to letting your autopilot direct your experiences. And those are very kind of two different pathways, neural pathways in the brain. And I just heard someone speaking a couple of days ago who said something about that, that one of the reasons why so many of us are feeling so tired or after the last couple of years of corona virus is this sense of having to be mindful, in moments where in the past maybe you just weren't as mindful about. For instance, the whole idea of, did I touch that light switch? Now did I touch my nose? Did I remember to put my mask on? Is that doorknob clean? As you're walking through your day, if you're out there in a public place and having those kinds of thoughts, and then is you not being on automatic pilot. And so we have been kind of challenged during this time to be a lot more mindful of our moment by moment engagement with the outer world due to corona. And so and that is tiring, being mindful and being in that having that focus and directing your brain waves, even, your thought processes, and to be constantly aware of what you are doing is tiring. It takes there's a sense of purpose, and there's also a sense of length that we are kind of allow ourselves to have that kind of focus and attention. And in our normal interactions, day-to-day interactions, we just don't give our normal day-to-day interactions that kind of focus and attention and length of time, to focus on things. So if you've been feeling tired lately, well, there's, there's a very real reason. So come to this time now, your practice, and kind of see it as an opportunity to see the mind doing its normal acrobatics, even, normal everyday thinking. And tell yourself that you'd like to take a pause from that for just a little while. And as you go through your yoga practice, so even your asana practice can become very automatic. I know a lot of people who will go through a yoga practice and at the end of an hour and a half, open their eyes and realize that they were thinking and worrying about all the usual things that they think and worry about while they were practicing yoga. So see if you can, set the intention right now that you want to kind of pause all that. Pause all the worry, pause all the concern. And perhaps choosing something now that you would like to focus on. Choosing some perhaps beneficial emotion that you enjoy bringing awareness to, such as a sense of wholeheartedness, or maybe a sense of that space, that luminous blue sky, vast space of awareness. Or maybe a sense of being cared about or caring for others. Or some other state of being that you enjoy redirecting yourself to. And maybe it's a multiple number of things, maybe it's all of the above. And so as you connect with these more beneficial experiences, the one or the ones that you would like to dwell in for the next hour and a half, see if you can also connect with that sense that they are a part of a refuge that you can take, or a refuge that you can go into. Perhaps seeing it as a similar quality of, you walk into your front door after a stressful day out in the world, and you enter the threshold of your home and put down your cases and your book bags and laptops and take off your shoes and feel that sense of entering into a safe place, a comforting space. Can you connect with the sense of that right now? Feeling your seat, your bottom on the seat, your body sitting on the floor, the ground, the support of the earth. Coming back to the body, the breath in the body, the breath as the anchor. And that sense of refuge. Relax your shoulders. Notice your hands wherever they are, resting. And just take a moment to feel the posture, the shape, the outline of the body. Connect with the sense that you are a breathing body. Keep coming back to the breath, to the sense of refuge, comfort, safety, and those resources of feeling cared about, feeling a sense of open-heartedness, sense of wholeness. A sense of vast space. So then have a clear sense of what feels beneficial right now. Clear sense of the channel that you are paying attention to. And applying that sense, intending to apply the sense into the rest of your practice this evening, and perhaps even into the time following your practice this evening. And then as you're ready, you can take the palms together in front of your heart, bowing your head. And so it begins, the practice of yoga. And then as you're ready, you can release your hands. Open your eyes. Okay, so let's go ahead and come down onto the mat. Grab your bolster. And you can take your legs over the bolsters, your knees over the bolster for some turtle. So if anybody has any suggestion for a request for a particular area of the body, you can go ahead and turn your microphone on there, press your space bar. But if no one does, then I'm going to kind of stick with the back care. If you've been doing any kind of additional outdoor yard work, your back might be a little stiff. So draping the arms, the torso over the legs, feeling the weightedness of the pelvic bowl, the roundedness of the spine. If it seems like it might be beneficial, you could kind of push up a little bit and just turn your body to one side. So it's almost like you're adding in a micro twist into the turtle. And then re-drape, re-release push up and we'll straighten out. And then we'll do the little micro twist to the other side. And again, drape over off to the other side now. And take another breath. And you can go ahead and push yourself on up. So let's do a seated twist. Actually, maybe a couple of them. I'm just going to straighten out the screen here. So you can be sitting on a folded blanket, and you want to have your blocks handy to help you to kind of move deeper into the rotation. So we're going to do Bharadvadrasana first. So this is actually, your legs will be in that kind of draping off to the side position, seated position that we do for the twisted child, right? And then your blocks, since we're not going to forward bend for this, you know, your blocks will be here. You can kind of think of them as your robo yogi arms. If you ever saw that old RoboCop movie. Very old, very much dating myself here. So it'll be what will help you to navigate around your body, and then that way, as you are, you know, moving into this rotation, into this twist, your spine can stay elevated. You won't feel like you have to lean towards the floor. And if this is not high enough, you know, then don't be afraid, of course, to make your robo yogi arms taller. It's up to you. Okay, so let's if we were doing this on the blanket, let's derotate first. Right, so you're going to turn away from the flat edge of, if your legs are going off to the right, then you're turning to the right in the rotation. And just pause for a moment. So even though you're pressing your hands into the blocks and they are kind of driving the twist, you know, you can feel that you can put pressure on down through the arms, and it helps you to kind of motor through. Keep in mind that you want to keep the shoulders and your neck strain free. So the twist is happening from the belly. All right, and then you can kind of walk your arms back, and now we're going to twist around to the other side. So this would be how we would forward bend if we were doing this as a twisted child, right? Rotating in the other direction, but without the forward bend. So there's still a sense of uprightness. A sense that the spine is elongated and the hips are dropped. The legs are also heavy, anchoring. Okay, so another breath here. And you can spin back around, face forward. And so lean to the side so you can extract your legs. And we're going to twist again, rotate around, but going in the other direction. So now adjust your legs. again, using your blocks to help you rotate. So de-rotating first. So this, if the legs are draping over towards or around to the left side, then you're twisting to the left this time. Encouraging that sense of refuge. Another breath here. And then we're going to spin back. Another twist. Stay with the breath. One more breath here. And you can release, let yourself spring back. Okay, so we're going to now prepare for Marichiasan. Here again, you could be sitting on a blanket, or maybe even two. Actually, I was thinking of raising my throne a little bit here. So here you have, that's pretty high. So now you can extend your legs. Have your blocks close by. They probably can help you with the rotation. Take your hands to the flesh of the buttocks and draw the flesh back so you're right on the front edge of those sit bones. And hopefully you're sitting up high enough that, and with your legs extended, that you can feel that your lumbar spine curve is present. So you definitely can feel that it's curving inward. And if that's not happening, then you probably want to sit up higher, sit up on another blanket. So Marichiasan, we're going to bend one knee, so just slide your heel in, do some heel sliding here. Bring that foot in. And just bring it into whatever is a comfortable place. There's no rule here that says your foot needs to be as close as you possibly can get it to the blankets. If it feels better to have your foot slide further away, a little further away, then that's fine too. So let's now pay attention to the flexing of the straight leg, the foot of the straight leg. So you want to keep that foot flexed, and so you want to avoid rolling your leg around. Find your blocks. And first let's turn toward the knee. So if the right knee is bent, the rotation is going to happen turning towards your knee. And again, decide where you want to put that foot. You can put wherever the blocks need to be to kind of give you that leverage and the lift. Even if it means putting it on the inside of that straight leg, that's okay. But just keep your spine lifted. So you're turning towards the knee. Keep also the knee, avoid dropping it out to the side. Try to keep the the foot aligned with your hip socket as you're turning. Sometimes it's nice to hold on to the knee even with the hand that's in the front, but keep the back hand on the block to help you to stay lifted, so you're sitting tall. Breathe. All right, so then you can unwind. So now you're facing forward again. And you can heel slide the bent knee, straighten out that leg, slide the heel forward, and slide your other heel in. Keep your heel in contact with the ground, keeping your knees healthy that way. And again, one block behind you, and the other maybe on the inside of the thigh, if that works for you. And begin your rotation. Keep the collarbones spread, shoulders released. And if it's helpful to hold on to the knee, kind of hug it in, then you can do that. And just rotating. Feeling the twist. Go with the twist. Take a couple more breaths here. And bloop. You can let go of your hand holds and let yourself spring back, spring forward. Okay. So now let's do the 90-90 version of the pigeon. So I'm trying to encourage people to open up a blanket so that you have something that creates, that's a little softer on the ankles, the inner malleoli. Oop. Since we tend to kind of go off mat when we're doing this posture, and even if you have a really big mat like mine is, it's still kind of nice to have that extra bit of padding. Smooth out all your lumps. So here now, putting your legs into the Keith Haring dancer position, 90-degree angles. So even noticing and trying to be particularly mindful of the 90-degree angles that you're trying to create at the ankles, so that the front of your ankles are going to flex, and that you're going to maintain that throughout the practice of this posture. You can have something available for your head. It can be a blanket or a block. And go ahead and fold over the front leg. You can rest your head on something. You can even stack up your forearms and rest your head on your forearms. Closing your eyes. Taking refuge. So you can take a couple more breaths here. Pushing up when you're ready. And we're going to switch sides. So switching your legs. Again, finding the right angles at the ankles and at your knees. Folding forward. So you can take your last 2 breaths here now. Pushing yourself up when you're ready. Okay. So let's now keep your block and your whatever support you were using for your head, keep them close by. And let's now see if we can move into a more classic pigeon, so that the front leg is going to be in that more acute angle at the knee. But again, keep in mind that you can keep the ankle of that front leg at a 90-degree angle. And then you're going to slide your back leg back. You can also curl the toes under of your back foot to keep the knee kind of hovering up off the floor. This is a good way of protecting the knee as well. And then go ahead and rest your head. So you can go ahead and take your last breath or 2 here. And then pushing up, and we're going to bring the back leg around to the front. Bring the front leg around to the back. And again, being mindful that you're trying to flex the front ankle and that you're curling the toes under of the back foot. That way, keeping both knees healthy, wealthy, and wise. As my father used to say. Not when we were doing Pigeon, no, of course, but if I ate my spinach or something like that. So you can take your last 2 breaths here. And pushing yourself up. Okay. So let's go ahead and set up for downward dogs. You can pick up your blanket, push it off to the side. I think that it might cause you to slip if you were to do downward dogs on the blanket, but I guess you could experiment if you wanted to. Don't say I didn't warn you, though. So you can be on your hands and knees, shifting back. Rise up as you're ready. So looking underneath the body, looking at the feet, trying to make sure that you've got Tadasana present in the feet so that the outer edges of your feet are parallel to each other. Keeping your elbows from locking, knees from locking too. Kind of have a sense of fluidity in the elbows and knees. So see if you can add in a little twist into your dog. We're doing all these twists tonight. So see if you can just kind of turn your belly, and your turning knees might have to bend a little bit to do this. Turning your belly and looking underneath the arm. So if you're turning to the right, you're looking underneath your right arm. Just a quick turn, and then come back to the center, and then you can twist to the left. Same action, just turning the belly. You might have to bend the knees again. Looking under the left arm. And then back to center. Take another breath. And then returning to all fours, to hands and knees. And let's come down for some Cobra. Lying on the belly. So here you can also be curling your toes under to encourage tibia rotation. You can be on the forearms, they can be apart, they could be together. It's up to you. Shoulders are relaxed, moving back, spreading the collarbones. So here too, if you wish, you can kind of go off to the side. Encouraging twisting tonight. And then coming back to your center and going to the otro lado. Another breath here. And coming back to the center. And you can walk your hands in. Squeeze your elbows in really close to the sides of your body. And go ahead and push yourself up. So here let's do a needle threading right on the floor. I've been trying to determine whether I like it best on the floor or if I like it with the block and under the head. So I'm experimenting again, going back to the original. Side of the head comes to the floor. And here your hand stays on the floor. So take another breath and slide your hand in so it's right in front of your face, and you're going to press your hand into the floor so you can push yourself up. So if it feels like you need a little bit more padding underneath your knees, if it feels like it's just the mat's too thin or the floor is too hard or a little bit of both, just grab a blanket, put it underneath the knees for some extra padding, extra cushioning, and then we'll reach to the second side. All right, so let's take another breath. And sliding your hand in closer to your face, and go ahead and push yourself up. And we can prepare for another downward dog. Starting off on all fours, shifting back. Pressing up.
So if you like, you can kind of pedal your feet. So that means taking one heel down to the ground. Your hips kind of will sort of sashay from side to side a little bit here when you do this. So one heel comes down and you bring the other heel up a little higher. Take a breath or two, and then you pedal the other one down to the floor, the other heel. And you pick up the first one. And you can just kind of go back and forth, but do it slowly. It's not like it's a true bicycle. It's not like you're gonna get anywhere. Because you're gonna stay here. Now, in the now.
So then when you're ready, you can lower yourself back down to the floor. And then let's lie on your back. We're gonna continue in the twists and the hips as you lie down. So you can keep your knees bent and bring the knees in. So you're going to hug them in. You can rock from side to side. All right, then go ahead and put both of your feet back on the floor. So now take up one leg, and you're going to clasp your hands behind the thigh. Clasp your hands together. Let the knee bend, and you can kind of straighten the leg back up, pressing up to the ceiling with the heel, but then bend the knee again, and just kind of keep going back and forth. So that the thigh starts to kind of rotate a little bit off to the side. External rotation. And then once with the knee bent and the knee kind of off to the side of the body, you can start to walk your hands up your lower leg. And you can straighten the other leg out. Or you can grab a hold of the side of the foot with your hand, kind of hook your hand on there like a happy baby hand grasp. So it's half a happy baby. Try to keep the foot flexed of the straight leg. Drawing the pinky side of the foot towards you, of the straight leg. Breathe. And then you can kind of move in reverse. Let your legs straighten back out. Bend the knee, bring the foot to the floor. Heel slide your other foot back up. And hug both knees back in.
go ahead and clasp your hands behind the second thigh and bring the sole of the other foot to the floor. And again, just kind of slowly go, straightening the leg and letting you can even do this manually if you like. Take your hands to your thigh and externally rotate the thigh a bit. So the knee is now angling off to the side, pointing in that sideways direction. You can kind of keep straightening the leg, go slow, pressing out through the heel. And then you can start to walk your hands up your shin bones, straighten the other leg out. Or hook your hand on the side of the pinky side of your foot. Being a happy breathing baby, deep breathing baby. All right, and then you can move in reverse, straightening the leg back out. You can kind of do that with your hands. Bring the foot to the floor. Slide your heel away. And now lie on the floor in sort of Tadasana, except you're lying down. So bring the roots of the big toes, the big toe mounds, the sides of the big toes, bring them together. Flex the feet, pressing out through the heels, and then also turning the feet slightly so that the pinky sides of the feet are turning, drawing up towards you. So then take one arm over your head, and we're just going to open up the neck to just off to the side. So take one ear to the shoulder as you're lying here. So your legs are still active. Internal rotation of the thighs perhaps is present. Notice. Another breath. And then you can put kind of slide your hand around your head and kind of mess up your hair and put your head back on top, and then take your arm around the other arm around the head. So now the ear is going to move towards your other shoulder. Legs are still active. Another breath here. And then you can slide your hand around the top of your head to the other side so that you can push your head back to a more on top kind of a position. And then wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a hug, Steve Martin hug. And then you can release this embrace. Take your arms back out to the sides. And then we're going to do it again. So hopefully you can remember whether it's kind of a verbal memory or if it was just a kinesthetic sense of which arm was on top. Switch your arms. All right, one more breath here. And you can release. Slide your heels in with bending the knees, and then you can roll to your side. Push yourself up. All right, so let's do Setu Bandha with a block underneath the hips. So kind of the more simplistic prop version, I guess you could say. So lying down on the floor with knees bent. And as you lift the hips up, placing the block underneath the pelvis. So even here, trying to keep the outer edges of your feet parallel to each other. Allowing your chin to drop down towards the throat. Allowing the shoulders to externally rotate. Allow your eyes to close. Taking refuge. So you can take a couple more breaths here. As you begin to bring yourself back, you can step your feet in a little closer to the body. You can engage your glutes. As you raise your hips up, take the block out. You can pause in a full unsupported bridge. Keep pressing the soles of the feet. Don't let your knees drop out. And then when you're ready, lowering yourself. So then go ahead and roll to your side. Take a breath and push yourself up. And let's prepare for a fish. So we've been doing fish with lately, going back to the doing it with the bolster underneath you. So if that's what you like, you can choose to do that. But if you would like to also change things up again, you could try the block. Pressing out through the heels. Trying to draw the pinky sides of the feet towards you. If you like, you can take the hands to the heart and take the arms straight up into the air. Hands back down to the heart center. Separate the hands so you can use your hands to scoop your head, pick up your head, and then take your hands to the floor and go ahead and push yourself up. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and set yourself up for a Sukta Badakanasan. So here, if you like, you can do the whole 9 yards. You could have your bolster over 2 blocks. You can decide how high you would like to take that. You could, there's a possibility of coming to the middle setting here and then the taller setting on the back one. But you can decide. Take your bolster up, then try fold a blanket so that you have something for your head, so that when you lay back, your head is going to be higher than your heart and your heart higher than your hips. Also have 2 other blankets to roll up for your legs. So we're going to try to make this very restorative, so you could even have a blanket to cover up with if it's cooling down in your world, in your house. Something to cover up with. You can put your socks back on if that's helpful to help you keep your body heat. Keep yourself from getting cool. Go ahead and drape back when you're ready. So feet are together, soles of the feet are together in Badakanasan, and then knees can be up, so you can slide your blankets in there and have a good sense that you are really kind of getting a good tuck in under the sides of your thighs at the greater trochanters, so that your inner groins and your inner thighs are being supported by these blankets here. And then you can have your blanket for warmth, if that's helpful. You can put your hood on if you have something with a hood on, instead of trying to figure out where to put it. Just put it on your head. As you lay your arms on the floor out next to you, just let your elbows bend. Let the shoulders drape. You can manually adjust your head, pick it up, bring it down towards your throat. Everything is good. Make any little adjustment that you need to be just as snug as a bug in a rug. Closing your eyes. So really connecting with that sense that this relaxation time is beneficial for you, and see it as, the medicine that you need, good medicine, strong medicine, that you need to be able to be balanced in the world today. so you can get a sense of what you're feeling. Start to bring yourself partway back. And we're just going to transition now to viparita karani at the wall. So you can take your legs back together, feet back to the floor. You can roll to your side. And go ahead and push yourself up. And then take yourself to the wall. So keep in mind that, and remind yourself that you can use an unrolled blanket when you take yourself to the wall, so that you can use your rolled up sticky mat to put between your knees. That being a little bit more functional than you trying to roll up a blanket and put the blanket between your knees. It doesn't quite work as well, although you can still kind of do it. And also remember to bring your belt to the wall with you, so you can unroll blankets, smooth it out, have your bolster be available for under your hips, and then slipping your belt on. So as you take the belt up to that spot right above the knees, and go ahead and make it a little snug. I've been noticing lately that my mat actually has been slipping out. One time it slipped out and bunked me on the head as it fell off. So taking that as a sign that I need to make my belt a little more snug. And then go ahead and sweep the legs up. Put the rolled up mat between the big toe mounds and your knees. So, and be mindful that your heels are away from the edge of the mat. Like the heels are not touching the mat, so that the outer edges of your feet are parallel. Probably getting tired of hearing me say that by now. Notice that there's an internal rotation of your thighs. And then you can interlace the hands above your body and invert the palms, so the palms are now facing the ceiling and your arms are stretching, and then you can take your arms overhead. And then separate your hands. Let the elbows bend as you slide your arms down into a position more like a cactus mudra. Closing your eyes. Once again, taking refuge in the body. So take a moment now to really notice your post yoga practice state. And have a sense of what part of this state that you would like to bring out there with you into whatever is next for you. This evening. When you're ready to move, you can start to slide your feet down your wall, bending your knees so you can loosen your belt. Take your mat out. Slide your feet all the way down the wall so you can take your belt off. And then go ahead and roll to your side. And push yourself up so you can come back up to sit. Coming to sit, bringing the palms together in front of your heart and bowing your head. And remembering now, you already have everything that you need inside. Namaste. And thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for being.
Thank you, Monica.